extending family medical leave. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Pennsylvania State Representative Thomas Murt. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Jill. Great to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about the Federal Family Medical Leave Act. This extends medical leave for parents, child, spouse during serious illness, and this is a 12-week leave. But talk to us about what you are trying to enact here in the Commonwealth.
That's correct. The Family Medical Leave Act, which is a federal legislation, does afford an employee 12 weeks of unpaid leave to care for a family member, specifically a spouse, a child, or a parent who might be terminally ill, who might be in a hospice setting, or who might be in a rehabilitative status. And this is really important legislation, and it's important because of the dynamics and the way that the healthcare industry has changed. Many family members are having to step up to care for a family member who is sick or who needs rehabilitation because there may not be any long-term health care insurance. And we have discovered in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that, of course, the Family Medical Leave Act does not apply to siblings, grandparents, or grandchildren. And many of these Pennsylvanians have asked us to consider introducing legislation that would cover them, that would give them some family medical leave time. And so what the proposal does specifically is grant to an employee 6 weeks. The federal act would be 12. This actually calls for 6 weeks of unpaid leave to care for a grandparent, a grandchild, or a sibling.
So there would not necessarily be crossover with the federal law.
That's correct. There would not be any crossover. There would not be any quote-unquote double dipping or anything of that nature.
Why do you feel it's important to extend benefits to other extended family members beyond parents, children, or spouses that the federal act covers?
That's an excellent question, and the answer is that many individuals in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and across the nation do not have a child who will care for them if they are ill or in need of nursing care or anything of that nature. And so in such a context, sometimes grandparents have to care for grandchildren, sometimes siblings have to care for a brother or a sister who is terminally ill or, as I mentioned, in rehabilitation at home. And we think that this is a step in the right direction. It is an act of compassion, and we have discussed it with the business community across the Commonwealth, and that was one of the negotiations why we came up with a 6-week arrangement.
Rather than the 12 at the federal level. Any potential impact, though, that you could see on the business community if they do have an employee leaving for a 6-week time period, even though it is unpaid leave?
Good point. There would, as you mentioned, it would be unpaid leave. And we are working with the business community to reach consensus on this. We don't want to see a business suffer or have any kind of negative impact because of this. But we think that the need for family members to care for another family member who may be terminally ill is so critically important that this is some action that we need to take.
And this is legislation that you've actually reintroduced at this point. Where does it stand now?
It's in committee right now, Jill, and we are hopeful and we are optimistic as well that this will soon come up for a vote in a committee and then go on to the full House for a vote.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Jill.
We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Tom Murt. I'm Jill Horner.